The Cobra Kai Season 5 trailer just dropped and man was it worth the wait. In today's video I'll be breaking it down scene by scene and do my best to explain what's going on, along with any theories I have for the series. Please like the video and subscribe to this channel with notifications set for more content. Also feel free to drop a comment explaining your thoughts and theories for the show's future. And with that done, let's get right into it. Right off the bat we have Daniel explaining to Chosen who Terry Silver is, and we see on TV the recent Cobra Kai All Valley victory, which sets up the dojo's large-scale promotion across the valley. We then see Silver at some sort of gathering or party for rich people, which explains why we see Amanda LaRusso present there. And my theory is that here Silver will try to gain her trust by appearing nice and genuine as opposed to the monster he really is. He already did this with Shannon back in Season 4 by giving her money in order to gain her trust, so it makes sense why he'd do something similar with Amanda. And not to mention, we already got a leaked photo of him offering her a drink, which adds yet more credibility to this theory. And on top of this, Daniel calls Silver two-faced in a voiceover whilst this very scene is played, so take what you will from that. Next we cut to Johnny, and after Cobra Kai's victory he seems to be temporarily quitting as a sensei and instead becomes an Uber driver.
What's an Uber?
Which will certainly lead to some comedic scenes with the character.
1 star? Cause the car smelled like beer. It's cause there is beer, asshole.
Daniel then tells his students that he's shutting down Miyagi-Do, and while it may appear like he's doing this to honour the agreement, I think he's doing it to make more time for his mission with Chosen to take down Silver. This makes sense as Daniel clearly views Silver's Cobra Kai as a much more serious issue than teaching Miyagi-Do. So for the first few episodes we probably won't see Daniel training his students, but we know from later shots that Miyagi-Do will reassemble. Next up we see the Cobra Kai dojo, and like Silver said, there are now more students than ever. We also see Kenny fighting another student, and it really looks like this season is going to buff him up into one of the top dogs in Cobra Kai. I mean, he's beating guys double his size, and later on we even see him fighting Hawk one-on-one, which shows you just how strong this guy is going to be. We then see Carmen opening her mailbox and she pulls out a Cobra Kai logo, which could either be the dojo's promotion or Silver directly contacting the Diaz family for unknown reasons. Silver then explains how with the overabundance of students, Cobra Kai would need more senseis to aid him with training, and thus we are introduced to 6 new senseis for the Cobra Kai dojo, one of them being Kim Da-eun, who features heavily in training Tori and Devon. Silver then explains how he's hoping to expand Cobra Kai much further than just the valley, which could mean that dojos will be placed further out in the country, and maybe even to other countries. We then see Kenny and his fellow Cobra Kais bullying Anthony LaRusso in an aqua park, which reflects back to this threat made in Season 4.
Get ready for high school next year, because you're going to be in a world of pain.
Anthony will probably be way less of a bully this season, mainly due to Kenny being physically superior to him, but also due to the fact that he never really wanted to bully Kenny and was just peer pressured into doing so. But either way, from set photos we know that Anthony will join Miyagi-Do and will likely be defending himself at one point. Cobra Kai then gets into a confrontation with Miyagi Fang, and in it we get to see Kenny pushing Bert and Kyler pushing Mitch. It then looks like Kenny will get in a fight with Hawk, where he actually manages to land a hit, and you may be asking why these two are even fighting, but it makes a bit more sense when you remember these scenes.
Thinking about striking first, huh?
Hi.
Yeah. Word of advice, kid? Get out of Cobra Kai while you still can.
Not these guys again. Damn. I'm sorry.
That sucks.
If you recall back to Season 4, Hawk was a bit of a bully to Kenny, likely due to his Red Hulk phase not ending yet. And when you take this into consideration, it makes a bit more sense why Kenny would have something against Hawk, similar to his hatred for Anthony. Miguel then looks up and something causes him to pull up on Robbie. If you watch carefully, Kenny is clutching his leg, and with Robbie right next to him, it's likely that Robbie, for some reason, hurt him, which explains why Miguel came over and pushed Robbie as he was essentially assaulting a kid. If anything, it's more likely that Kenny attacked Robbie first, probably out of anger for his abandonment and resignment from the dojo, and Robbie simply defended himself, which resulted in Kenny getting hurt. Next up we get a better look at Miguel and Robbie's rematch, and with some new shots included in this trailer, it's interesting to see how both characters' fighting styles have changed. More specifically Robbie, who seems to be leaning heavily towards the Cobra Kai offensive style, and Miguel, who's a bit more defensive. Devon appears to have joined Topanga Karate, the same dojo Xander Stone was a part of back in Season 1, but we know from set photos and later trailer shots that Devon will eventually join Cobra Kai. And while some may be confused with the sudden dojo switch, it does kinda make sense when you think about it. We know that Johnny shut down Eagle Fang as he literally said he quit being a sensei, meaning that Devon will need to find a replacement dojo, and due to her having no actual connection to Miyagi-Do, she has no reason to join it. She'll likely try to find the right dojo for her, initially joining Topanga Karate, and after experiencing Cobra Kai in this B-Tech tournament, she'll probably decide that this dojo suits her fighting style best, and so she'll probably settle there. Back to the trailer, we see Silver assigning Kim Da-eun to test the students, and this is where we get to see her extremely harsh teaching methods as she relentlessly whips Tori for not striking Devon harder. Speaking of Tori, there is a possibility that she'll leave Cobra Kai, not only due to her All-Valley victory being rigged, but also due to her harsh abusive training by Kim Da-eun. Not to mention she'll be using the Quicksilver method as seen in the previous teaser, and we know from Karate Kid 3 this is very painful. Daniel and Amanda get into a heated argument, and if you pay close attention, this scene takes place at the same time as this part of the previous teaser.
Arms way, and that's why I have to take him down.
Amanda is also wearing the same clothing as she was back in the party with Silver, so something tells me this argument is related to Amanda's fooled perception on Silver. Chosen is also facing a group of 6 senseis, beating up one of them, and if we look closely, he might even be using the pressure points on one of them, as he is seen striking one guy's bicep, similarly to how he did to Daniel in Season 3. We then see the Miyagi-Do is bowing to Daniel, Chosen and Johnny, and it's interesting to see how the students will adapt to all 3 of these senseis' teaching methods, in particular Chosen. What makes this group of senseis so interesting to me is that Chosen's version of Miyagi-Do is much more aggressive and on the offensive side, something I think Johnny would respect, which would explain the partnership between these two. Speaking of Johnny and Chosen, we get to see these two confront a Cobra Kai sensei, the same one seen earlier on in the trailer, and not so surprisingly, Johnny gets into a fight with him, Chosen likely aiding him. It's also worth mentioning that Cobra Kai is now teaching adults karate as opposed to just kids, which is something the dojo never did before.
Sorry, parents can't stay for class. It's an insurance thing.
I'm not a dad. I am here to kick some ass, sir.
Look, you're a little old. This is a class for teenagers.
The Miyagi-Dos are then later seen training, more specifically Robbie and Sam, who are seen performing the wheel technique, something they did back in Season 2. It's also interesting to see how Robbie and Sam will interact after what happened in Season 2 and 3. Will they just be mutual friends or will something else happen? Okay, so a lot happens here. For starters, we see Tori and Devon training and even sparring with Kim Da-eun. Then we see Johnny and Chosen ready to fight someone, likely more Cobra Kai senseis, given the similar background to the previous shot in the trailer where Johnny was fighting a sensei. Then it looks like the Miyagi-Do students will be doing some sort of tournament matchup with the Cobra Kai students, of which we get to see Kenny fighting Hawk and Sam fighting Devon. This will likely take place near the end of the season due to the fact that Eli's hair is much longer here than in other shots. Then we see Daniel facing off against Silver, and I personally just can't wait for this fight. We do see bruises on Daniel's face in later shots, and these could be from his fight with Silver, or maybe even Mike Barnes, who we know will be making a comeback. Watch carefully and you'll see Daniel's knuckles are bleeding, which is a callback to Karate Kid 3, where he was forced to use the Quicksilver method through Silver's teachings. Daniel has also not been shaving, which could reflect his mental state, something we've seen already with Johnny back in Season 3, and so something tells me the season might not be that nice to Daniel. And finally, we have my favourite scene of the trailer, Kreese making a bunch of friends in prison, but it's no doubt in my mind he'll somehow get out and join the epic fight against Silver, Barnes and Cobra Kai, likely on the side of Miyagi-Do, or at least Johnny or whoever's fighting against Silver. Hopefully this video has showed you some new ideas for what's to come in Season 5. Just remember to like and subscribe and thanks for watching.